Hi, Ginny with today's thought, and today's thought is going to be about tariffs. Interestingly, actually I had planned to talk about something else today, but I got a comment, and the commenter was talking about tariffs and how I guess he was saying that America would be hoisted by our own petard, that it would hurt us, and he was talking about Canada, and well, he makes an interesting point, so I want to talk about it and clarify a few things, because I guess apparently some people don't understand what this whole tariff dispute, brouhaha, whatever you want to call it, is all about. First of all, just one small correction, because the commenter said that we get 90% of our oil from Canada. That's not accurate. We get, well, first of all, overall, we get 76% right now of our oil imported. And out of that 76%, 60% of the 76% comes from Canada. So that's a figure that I read, but somebody could correct me, look it up, but I Googled it, and that's the number that I got. On the other hand, it's irrelevant, or will be, because the reason we are importing so much oil is because of the Biden administration's energy policies. Before that, we were net exporters. Now that Trump is president and he's opening up drilling in all the places that Biden shut down and approving new permits, it's only a matter of time before we are net exporters again. So whatever deficit in oil we have right now with Canada or anybody else, it will disappear in time, hopefully a short time. Where, to be fair to the commenter, where we do import, where it's not so easily turned around, is lumber. We get a lot of lumber from Canada. Trump has said, well, we don't need Canadian lumber. Well, we do. And it takes a long time to grow a tree. So that is something that is not so quickly reversed. Again, that's just my reasoning from the top of my head, so I'm always willing to be, there's a comment section below the video. If you have I'm always willing, you're welcome to disagree with me. But where I want to disagree with the commenter and clarify something, because he's talking about when we had a tariff war, a trade war. He was talking about Smoot-Hawley. He was talking about the late 20s, early 30s, where we put a lot of tariffs. Protectionism is what he was talking about, and it's been cited as one of the causes of the Depression, but the Great Depression in the 30s. But what he's missing is there a difference. Trump is not talking about a trade war, and he's not talking about isolationism. He's talking about reciprocity, which is simply a fancy word for fairness, and there's a big difference. Smoot-Hawley, that's where you raise tariffs to keep foreign goods from coming into your country so that you can advantage your domestic manufacturers. Trump is talking about the opposite. He doesn't want to he's using it as a weapon, as leverage, which I'll get to in a second, but he is not trying to keep foreign products from coming into the United States. He wants United States products to go into foreign countries because they are being kept out in other words, the Smoot-Hawley and what they're talking about, that's what Europe is doing, not what Trump is talking about doing. It's what Europe, the European Union, is doing right now, and that's what he wants to stop. And the reason and the way he's doing it is through tariffs, and not just raising tariffs to keep the products out. He's just saying, we're going to charge you exactly the same that you are charging us. If you're going to keep our products out of your market, then you can keep we're going to make it hard for your products to come into our market. Reciprocity. Now, the Smoot-Hawley or something like that would be that we would raise our tariffs higher than the foreign European Union to keep their products out. And if they lowered lowered their tariffs, we would keep ours high, because it would be even better if you're a believer in that kind of tactic, which I'm not, just to get that straight. And nobody in the Trump administration is either. So but the solution is for the European Union to lower their tariffs. And if they lower their tariffs, Trump has made it clear we would not keep our tariffs higher than theirs. We would keep them equal. If they lower their tariffs, we would lower our tariffs. And so it's a completely different thing. But I want to show how unfair he tells, as Trump says, we're being treated so unfairly by the European Union, and he wants other countries to. I'm going to focus on the EU because they are the main culprits for this. And there was speaking today on a Fox Business Channel, a show called Varney and Varney and Company, a morning show. Great show, by the way. I highly recommend it. But anyways, Peter Navarro was on, and he was talking about the tariffs, what Trump wants to do, because they are scheduled to go into effect on March 4th, a 25% increase in tariffs, or 25% just straight tariff. I don't remember exactly. Not relevant. What matters is this. So Peter Navarro, I have to turn my head and look at the screen because it's a long thing. He is the senior counselor for trade and manufacturing for the United States. I'll say Trump's, I guess, basically senior counselor on trade. And he gave the numbers. Now what it is the Europeans do things to make their products, to keep our products out. And there are two elements to this. The one that gets talked about the most, tariffs, which are higher than ours for their products coming into our country, but also something called a value-added tax, which is it's similar to a sales tax, but it's applied, and it surprised me. They have this in Germany. We'll be talking about Germany specifically today, but England, they've been known for that. I've known about England for years and years. But what it is, it's taxes added in our country. Well, you don't have a national sales tax. We don't have a VAT. It's just states, and you pay a sales tax when you buy the final product. When I go into the supermarket or whatever and I buy a product, then I pay a sales tax. A VAT, and value added tax, that's different. So if you don't know what it is, let me just explain it. It's where a tax is added at every stage of production. In other words, as you add value to something through every stage of manufacture, there's a tax. So you buy iron ore, let's say you buy plastic, okay? So you buy petroleum, okay, to make plastic. So you buy the petroleum and then you make the plastic out of it, and then you sell plastic to somebody who manufactures, I don't know, children's toys or something out of plastic. That manufacturer pays a tax, and then whatever he does to it, then he sells it to a wholesaler. He makes his product, sells it to a wholesaler. The wholesaler pays a tax, and then when it finally goes on sale, the customer buys it, and another tax is added. In other words, taxes are added at every level, so it becomes quite large. Now, where the unfairness comes in for us, as Navarro gave, the example he used was automobiles from Germany. So if you are a German in Germany and you want to buy a BMW, it costs $50,000, let's say, use this example, a $50,000 BMW, all right? And part of that is this value-added tax. The final consumer and all these taxes are added, and they pay about $10,000 of the $50,000 tax, of the $50,000 purchase price is this value-added tax, this VAT, this VAT. But when a German the BMW company puts that car on a ship and sends it to the United States because they're selling it in another country, there is no VAT. Okay, so the price of the car is lowered to $40,000, and so $40,000. So a German in Germany would pay $50,000. An American here would pay $40,000, less than $10,000 less than the German would pay. All right, and then when it comes to our country, we charge a 2.5% tariff, so it works out to about $41,000. It adds another $1,000 to the price, whatever. So you're talking about the low 40s would cost us. Now, if we send a $50,000 Cadillac to Germany for a German customer to buy, okay, a $50,000 Cadillac, when it arrives in Germany, a VAT is added to it, $10,000. So that $50,000 Cadillac becomes a $60,000 Cadillac, and then a $60,000 Cadillac. And on top of that, there is a 10% tariff, okay, 4 times what the tariff that we charge them, and no VAT. So you add a 10%, so a 10% of $60,000, that's another 60,000. So 50, it's round off, you're talking about mid $60,000 for that Cadillac, but the BMW here costs $40,000, and that's why if you're in Germany, you're a German, you're going to buy a car, even with you have to pay this VAT. If you have a choice between a $50,000 BMW and a $6,000 or whatever Cadillac, you're going to buy the German product. That's what Trump is talking about as being unfair. So what he's going to do, he includes the 10% tariff, and also whatever it would be, the percentage, he includes the VAT too. So the BMW coming into this country will cost exactly the same, no more, but no less than what that Cadillac will cost in Germany. If that's a problem for the BMW company, and they're actually having big problems, and I think it's BMW, but some German manufacturer laid off a bunch of people because they haven't, never mind tariffs and all that, but energy costs, because this Green New Deal that is going bonkers in Germany. They're finally getting the message, but closing their nuclear, power generators and trying to switch it to wind and solar. So their power energy prices going way up for these manufacturers, never mind the poor consumer, but the homeowner paying for heat. And I could tell you a story. I was in Germany for about 3 weeks, and I can tell you how even then energy was so high. It was a modern house. I was staying with some people, and they had a furnace in the kitchen, and these little bricks, charcoal bricks or bitumen, whatever they're made out of, and that's what they use to heat. And it got so cold one day, I said, "Can you please, turn on the heat? I'm freezing in here." And the guy, he, passive resistance, he didn't want to turn on the heat because the energy is so expensive. And then he showed me where the boil, you have this big metal boiler in your house. It was a plastic container about this big and had the oil in it because it's so expensive. But anyways, I digress, as I often do. Getting back to BMW, so their energy costs are so high, so it's hurting their business. And then you add the tariffs on top of that. So all they have to do is, number one, the tariff, make it 2%, 2.5%, the same as ours, and just as they eliminate the VAT. Don't add the VAT. Just don't add the VAT tax onto the price of the car. So the car that costs an American for the $40,000, then it would be forget my aging brain. 40,000 plus 2.5% becomes $41,000. Okay, becomes 40. Yeah, the same as. I don't know what I'm thinking here. Yeah, the same as the BMW, as I did that example earlier. The BMW here, $41,000. The Cadillac in Germany, $41,000. Or they can keep the tariffs high, and then BMW will cost $66,000 here. The same. That's all he's talking about is fairness, and he's not talking about again. This is the important distinction to make. He's not talking about keeping foreign products out of America. He's talking about letting our products into Europe, and that's just cars. Now, you want to know something even worse? Agriculture. When you have these little, we have these giant, farms, and we have conglomerate. We could undersell Europeans. In Europe, France, they're famous for that. I guess these little postage stamp farms, and they actually have it in Germany too. When I was living in Germany for a while, there was I guess the German government wanted to reduce some subsidies because they subsidize their farmers. Okay, and I remember I couldn't get anywhere. I was staying in this town called Neuss, right outside Dusseldorf, because the farmers went on strike, and what they did was they just drove their tractors around at 10 miles an hour up and down every street. So I'd get to an intersection, he had to sit there like waiting for, at a train crossing, wait for all these tractors to go by at 10 miles an hour, or drive down the street and get stuck behind a tractor. So I have some sympathy for the Germans, but they, and the French, if the price of produce, if the farmers are getting hurt, they dump manure in the middle of the road, or they dump their farm products, and I understand that, but they keep our as Trump said, they don't take our cars, they don't take our agriculture. And and also I remember reading a story, I'll end on this, I guess, about California wines. California wines are, now there may be exceptions like Champagne, made in the Champagne district of France. Otherwise, it can't be called champagne. Then it's just called sparkling wine. But California wine is as good as French wine. At least the average California, the average California wine is as good as the average French wine, and they should, I don't know if they are anymore, but they should not be putting tariffs on. They should not be doing anything to American wine, California wine, that makes it prohibitively expensive for Frenchmen. It should cost the same. Both countries are a slight tariff. So, then we would have the same tariff, and then the French person could decide which wine he wants and not be priced out of the market. So I think I've pretty much exhausted this topic. Your comments are welcome in the comment section below the video. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.